welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is our recap for the challenge All Stars, Episode 5. My name is Zach, and as always, I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
Hey, what's up?
The best friend, Jake.
How's everybody doing tonight?
You pointed. They can't hear a point.
You can see it.
I can.
The problem is we have yet to get around to doing video feeds of our pod.
Yeah. We've done a couple of video versions of the podcast.
Do you want to strap on a camera?
No, I don't.
I don't like that that's how you phrase that.
It's a lot. It's so much more work.
It's a lot to strap on a camera.
to do video.
Do you know how they strap on those cameras to their helmets, but it's like right here?
Like
Yeah.
a GoPro?
And it looks like their head's not moving the whole time. It's real goofy
They
looking.
did it in tonight's episode.
Did they?
Yeah, they had one on Alton when he was like dying on that hill.
If we're going to do video, that's how I'd want to do it.
Just reactions that are useless because you can't tell what's going on.
we all three have a camera facing out on our foreheads. So
No, that's
the feed always looks like it's in the first person view.
no, that's too Blair Witch Project. I don't like that.
You know, I've never seen that movie because it came out when we were in elementary school.
I'd actually like to watch it.
I know that POD and Project
No.
86 are on the soundtrack.
Is that right?
Maybe it's the second one, but they're both on the soundtrack.
Boy, I used to rock with some POD more than I did just about anything.
I like Project 86 a lot.
Yeah.
I watched that movie on a Saturday afternoon. Broad daylight. It was like 2:30 in the afternoon.
I'm glad you clarified broad daylight, which is in the afternoon.
Yeah. Not even Home Alone. And
We were watching the Blair Witch Project.
yeah, it was
Not Home Alone.
it was traumatizing. It was horrifying.
Was that the first found footage movie?
I think.
Yeah, I think so. It was like, I remember when it came, I mean, even I was in like 5th grade. I remember it was like, oh, no one's ever done this before.
Yeah.
And I know we talked a lot about movies we were going to watch last time we recorded All Stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Including DMX's.
The Great Calamari Wrestler.
I think only you brought that one up, which I haven't
talked
watched yet.
about it.
I bought it at a thrift store.
Mm-hmm.
But we did talk about DMX's Fast and the Furious type movie. We also talked about, just in general, the Fast and the Furious movies.
Right.
We also talked about Cradle to the Grave. To the Grave.
Because DMX was in it. And it was... Jet Li was in it too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also from that podcast, we might have an invitation to go talk about something on another podcast now.
Right.
So be watching for that. We'll announce it if it happens, when it happens, that type of stuff. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna. If you're listening to this now, it's Thursday night. It's the night technically that All Stars episode 5 premiered. Correct?
Yeah.
It comes out on Thursdays. So from now on, at least we're planning to record these on Thursday as they come out. There's only 4 episodes left after this, which kind of sucks because the season's been a lot of fun. But yeah, we'll do these on Thursdays going forward and try to figure some things out going forward as far as what season we're going to do after All Stars.
Will you be more excited for the announcement of the next season of All Stars or the mainstream mainline challenge?
Honestly, probably the next
All
season of All
Stars.
Stars.
I think so.
Yeah, and that's not saying the new season's going to be bad or like, because we all agreed the final was good. Apparently, the reunion part 1 was good. None of us have watched it yet.
We're waiting for the second part. I think I'm more excited for All Stars because I want to see who's willing to make a comeback. Like, some of these people came back after 20 years.
And I think there were a few big names that were probably on the fence that have seen, like,
Oh yeah,
How well this was put on.
I mean,
and now they're
and how
like, okay, I'll do it now.
how well it's been received.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, I don't want to be a part of something that's a flop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like,
I think that's probably why you had the Alyssas and
but again, he still had people like Cook and even Casey. I don't think she would have gone out the way Alyssa went last week.
I agree.
Yeah, but Casey's a quitter.
Not as much as
You're gonna-
Alyssa.
You know what, Han? At some point, you're gonna have to stop this Casey slander. It's as off-putting as the Pauly slander.
both equally good competitors.
Well, so it's a different sort of, as the kids say today.
Are you about to put Casey and Polly on the same
no.
level?
She has a better elimination record.
It's a, as the kids would say these days, it's a different sort of vibe or a different sort of energy. Everybody's about vibe. Sometimes I feel like I turned 30 last year, right? Sometimes I feel like I turned 70 or 80 because
I feel like
words like that are very off-putting to me.
But I
hate
feel
hearing
like
about
even
someone's vibe and energy.
But that's because I call you every morning. It's like, guess what my vibe is?
Yeah. No, like I was just thinking about this like yesterday or day before yesterday. I feel like almost vibe and energy are terms that are on the outs, moving out, and there's going to be new terminology that's starting to make its way in. So I feel like if you're just now saying, oh, the kids say vibe and energy, and it's like on the outs, it really does make you sound old.
Yeah, well, be it as it may, Han. It's right up there for me with calling someone queen.
See, I think that's so much worse.
King.
That is so much worse.
It's up there.
That is
like
so much worse.
It maybe a tier below.
I would probably it doesn't bother me. Like
it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Well, you're giving me a bad vibe.
Yeah. Well,
you just said it.
Yeah.
You just said the word.
Way to go.
I don't like your energy, Han.
Yeah.
I don't care.
She does
Here's
have a
the
weird
thing.
energy.
Yeah, actually, you do. If we're going to talk about someone's energy, you got a real sassy energy tonight. And before she goes into a 15-minute story about it, she didn't get any sleep, guys. That's what it is.
No, I wasn't even going to get into it. I was going to ask if you still had Zach blocked from calling you king on Twitter.
I actually do. You are still blocked.
Yeah.
It's been, 2 weeks now?
Yeah.
I wasn't even going to go on a tangent.
You say that, Han, but it's
no,
one of
like
those
I
things-
legit wasn't because I really wanted to know if Zach, if you were still blocked.
I mean, it's not like he's tweeting out anything newsworthy over there.
I don't know that I've
You don't-
tweeted.
you don't
since
even care.
There's a double like you. It's one of those things, Han, where like there are nights where I'm like, I'm going to go to bed at 9:00, but I'm up till 1 or 2 in the morning. You saying that you weren't going to go into a tangent is very similar to that.
You're a liar. That's what he's saying.
No, you're well intended. I don't think you want to go into a tangent, but it's so part of your makeup. It's part of who you are.
What about my makeup?
Well, you're not wearing any right now.
Yes, I am. I don't know how to take that.
No. Well, you're at home, so I figured.
Okay.
I figured you just.
Not yet. I take it off right before I get in the shower.
Your pajamas throw me off.
Well, I didn't want to sit and... I was at work today, and I sat down. After being at work all day, I sat down, and I just kind of moved my hand like this over my torso, and I felt something weird, and I looked down, and I had a finger-sized hole in my shirt right where my bra was, and I was like, oh, cool. I have been at work all day like this, and nobody said anything.
It's probably because nobody saw it.
Let me tell you this,
So
Han.
I changed clothes as soon as I got home, and that's why I'm in pajamas.
Yeah, well, let me tell you this. I think Zach would agree with this. You know, there are women out there who... There are 3 types of women out there.
You better be careful.
I don't know if I can agree to
I
this
feel
yet.
I feel all the feminists are getting ready to just slit your throat, and I don't even know what you're going to say.
There are 3 types of women in the
And
same
only
sort of,
3.
in the same sort of way that there are 3 types of guys. All right, when we're talking about aesthetic when it comes to makeup, there are women who I think pull off the no makeup look very, very well.
Okay.
But I think takes away from it when they try to overdo it with the makeup. I think it takes away. I think there are women who really work
Is this
the
the
makeup
same
way
woman?
too much.
So you're saying the
I am-
people that look best without makeup almost look worse with it.
Yes.
So that's woman number
That's
one.
woman number one.
Okay.
Okay. Then there are women who.
Why are you pointing at me?
Yeah. What?
Then there are women who.
He's waiting for you to agree.
Who. I think almost need the makeup, and so, like.
I feel like you're just slowly digging your own grave.
Stop pointing at
So
me.
no, because we actually know a girl.
Yeah, I know a lot of them. Yeah.
That, like, okay, so they look like two totally different people. I'm gonna type this name in, Zach, and I know you're gonna agree 100% with me.
I don't know where he's going with this.
I don't either.
Oh,
1,000%.
Well, it's
someone you wouldn't know.
Okay,
It's from,
but I feel like Jake is the one on a tangent right
But
now.
yeah,
okay, seriously, we're all human beings here. We find certain people attractive. It's I don't do the ugly. I don't call anybody ugly. I say I'm not attracted to them, right? Because it's a real thing. You're either attracted to someone or you're not.
and then you go.
Because you don't want to use the words ugly.
So this.
What's
But
subjective?
that's
It's all subjective.
It's all
Yeah,
subjective
it is.
too, right?
Beauty is absolutely subjective.
Someone out there thinks I'm extremely ugly. I
It's
beg
me.
to differ, but no. So they this girl, right?
Number two.
Number two, I think is actually really pretty with makeup. But I saw her without makeup, and I said, "Whoa."
This is when we were in high school. This is how far back this is going.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's a long time ago.
That's why
Really-
I would not have put.
Really looked like a totally different person.
I will say that I thought she was, from what I remember, attractive back then, but I never really knew her like you did.
Mm-hmm.
I have a story about her, but in a completely different way. But yeah,
She tried to get me to play with her thong one time.
that's not what my story was about.
Ew.
And then there's the girl who can, just to put it simply, go both ways.
Number 3.
Right. Number 3.
Okay.
You are number 3, Ann.
he
Thanks. And I
didn't
just called you ugly.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
did.
High five.
By the way, before anybody calls me arrogant, I think I'm an alright looking guy. I'm no.
Okay. Before anybody calls me arrogant, I'm going to give you a reason to call me arrogant.
No, I don't, because I said a minute ago. I said a minute ago that someone out there thinks I'm very ugly, and I said I would beg to differ, which made it sound like I would say that I'm, I think I'm extremely hot or something, right? I think I'm a nice looking guy.
He started it 3 different times.
Yeah.
I do. I think I'm a nice looking guy.
You had to recalibrate what you were going to say.
Which word are we using?
What do you think?
What I think about what?
Do you think I'm a nice looking guy?
I mean, you're not Frank.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah, it's hard to find a Frank.
or CT.
I do. I think I'm a nice looking guy. That's what this all boils down to.
That's what you wanted to get out of this.
Yeah.
There's 3 type of women, and I look good. That's what we got out of
That
this.
was the whole point, the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah. Listen,
It's
and don't hammer down on me, all right? There are TikToks out there that make fun of that logic. The girl with the makeup on, and then you take it off, and
You've
I
been
know
hanging
it.
out on TikTok a lot?
No, but I just know. I know how TikTok's wired, so I know that's a thing.
We do watch a lot of TikTok cringe compilations together. Normally, we watch 1 or 2 compilations before we sit down to record.
It's just a good palate cleanser.
I was going to say, it's like our palate cleanser.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just kind of resets your brain.
Like wasabi.
I don't think that's really a palate
I
cleanser.
think
Is it
that's
not?
more
What's the
like
little- what's the
ginger.
little- Is that not what that is? That little green stuff is? They
Yeah,
That's
put,
wasabi.
super spicy.
It's super hot.
but is that
but-
not what they put on the plate with your sushi?
Yeah, but
Yes, but they
it's
also put
not a
sliced
palate cleanser.
sliced
Oh, okay.
ginger, which is a palate cleanser.
Well, both of them are spicy if you eat them.
I've actually never.
Really?
I've actually never put any of that
Have you
ginger
ever eaten
powder in my mouth.
Raw ginger is hot.
But I when I look at it, it looks like those breath strips you used to put on your tongue that just dissolve. Is that what it does?
Listerine breath strips.
Man, I used to carry those in my pockets at school.
We're running long. aren't we?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I was.
Let me just say,
Yes.
you think raw ginger is spicy? Slice it up and put it in your drink.
Flash it up.
What is
Slice
what
it
is
up
this?
raw and put it in your drink.
What does that have to do with anything?
It's great.
You've never once done that,
Yes, I have.
Hannah.
Yes, I have. Yes, I absolutely have. Because it's
Here we go.
really good if you get one of those big like
have a
punch
Patreon-
jugs. No,
Patreon.com.
you're gonna let me finish. You're not gonna cut me off.
There it
You're
is.
not gonna cut
I don't
me
like
off.
This. I don't like y'all do this.
No, I'm
good.
I'm not feeling any type of way either. Get a 2 liter
This is what we
of
talked
ginger
about
ale
before
or
we started recording.
Sprite,
This is
and
what Jake
then
was talking
get
about.
a like a 2 liter of pink lemonade. Dump it together. fresh sliced ginger, fresh mint, fresh strawberries sliced. Perfect drink. You're welcome.
She's never once done this since we.
I don't do it at home, but I make it at work a lot.
You have all those things at work?
Our whole office is full of all that stuff. And then we've got like 18 bottles of wine. There's a bottle of rum and other stuff.
Patreon.com/SmashingHeads podcast. We're going to do more of this weekend. We have a lot we got to get into.
Yeah, Han works at a boutique, by the way.
Yeah, they don't grow strawberries there.
No, we just...
Oh my God, we'll talk about it this
If customers
weekend.
are thirsty, we make drinks for the customers for free. You're welcome. I'm done.
Patreon.com, we got some stuff coming up. Jake just put a post up actually right now for
wonder
questions.
if anybody's replied to it.
I'll get emails when it happens.
Did you not?
That's a no.
Not yet. So we'll be recording that this weekend, and we got some other stuff planned for hopefully next weekend. And one other quick thing is our merch store, smashingheadspodcast.com/store, which is our threadless page. Maybe a new design coming to it very, very soon.
We know what it looks like.
Yep. It'd be weird if we didn't. But it's gonna be. We'll announce it in a little bit. It actually was a gift to us that one of our listeners from the UK actually was like, "Hey, I wanted to make this for you guys, and you can use it for a design or just like fan art or something like that." He's like, "But I wanted to give it to you because you've given me so many hours of free content." He's like, "No one over here knows what the challenge is, so I feel like I don't have anyone to talk to."
Wait, what are we doing with this logo?
We're gonna make shirts out of it.
Oh my God,
We've talked about this.
Yeah, we
didn't
did.
say a word
We
about
talked about this.
yeah, we talked about that. You know, he did this.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that is
yeah, and when I say like, because Zach, you actually read his message to me, I almost cried because I was like, oh my God, that's so sweet. I want to just hug him.
Well, he's in the UK. It'd be kind of hard.
I want to hug him all the way across the pond.
Yeah. So again, we'll announce that when it comes out and give him credit for everything. Again, it's unprompted. I truly do believe in paying artists for their work and all that type of stuff. But he approached us and said, "Hey, I want to give this to you because I want to just give back for all the different stuff you've done." So whenever we do that, I am going to send him some stuff from there. So. You got something to say about that?
Yeah, I was going to throw out a dollar amount, but I'm not sure how comfortable that'd make you.
Okay, yeah, let's not do that on mic.
I was,
Yeah, no, let's go.
Jake, we never know where you're going.
Yeah, there's 3 type of women.
Yeah. 3 type of women, and I look good.
But I keep it clean.
Okay, so
kids.
let's get into. By the way,
children's podcast.
just another good episode.
This was a really good episode.
Mm-hmm.
Twists and turns that I didn't see coming, and I was thoroughly entertained.
Yeah, Hannah and I actually just watched it right before Jake got over here, and we get back from last week's elimination, kind of where Beth just wins because Alyssa quits, and Darrell is the group's kind of discussing what happened. Like they're all in like the living room,
and Beth kind of like feels guilty about it, even though
why.
like everybody's like, you didn't do anything, and then Beth is like, well, I didn't mean to intimidate anybody, but I don't think it was that. I think it was just that Alyssa was so mad at everyone else that was why she quit.
Darrell.
I don't know.
Darrell said he's glad she's gone.
Yeah, that was my first note. He was glad to see her go.
He's like, listen,
were you glad to see her go? Everybody knows what Darrell felt. What did you feel, Han? People don't listen to this to know what Darrell thought. They watched it. We want to know what you think.
I told you how I felt about her last week.
And I agree. I mean, and even some of these other people after, Darrell's confessional, they were like, yeah, I mean, there's other people that wanted to be here.
Cook and Casey were waiting in Patagonia or whatever. Like, they were all there. And it is annoying that happened because they also would have been better competitors. I'll say it. Casey would have been a better competitor than her. And that's a low bar.
Okay, hang on.
Do you really think Alyssa was a better competitor than what Casey would have done?
I think they're close.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they're like miles apart, but it's. I mean, what did Alyssa do? Like bring to the table?
Captain Planet.
That doesn't count. That's not a competitive thing. So, right from the beginning, Cyrus is talking about he wants to compete. Beth is talking about how she wants him to remain there. And at that point, I just made a note. I was like, Cyrus is going to go in. I was like, you can just tell. Like, they were kind of like foreshadowing it. And then as the episode went on and they kept focusing on Cyrus and his ankle and stuff even before the daily, I was like, he's going to go in. Something's going to happen.
Hey, did you know that he had a fiance at home?
I mean, no. I knew he had 2 or 3 big dogs.
Yeah, I did not know he had a fiance.
What do you know about Cyrus at home?
Not much, but
Yeah.
he talked about his beautiful fiance, and then he kissed a picture of her, which I thought was interesting. Have you ever done that?
Oh man, yes.
Kiss pictures? That's
Yeah.
that's a weird thing to do, I think.
How do you think Jeyyy got through middle school?
Yeah. That's yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot more enthusiasm than I expected on that.
I feel like I hit on something I didn't know about.
Anyway, I hope Cyrus gets fantasy points because he's got a beautiful fiance.
You don't.
Okay.
When you're out of town, you don't have a picture of Zach with you, or pull it up on your phone, and just kiss it before you go to bed. Lay down.
Lord,
to sleep.
no. That's it. Kissing pictures is weird to me. I've always thought that was
It's
weird.
a sentimental thing. It goes beyond the physical aspect of it.
It's a vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that energy.
Yeah.
Cyrus just wants to compete, guys. And then all the other guys just have a climbing contest on like the
stone wall out front.
It wasn't even a wall; it was like a pillar. And like Derek tried, and he just kind of barely went up there. And then Alton's like, "I'll do it," and he had like
In cowboy boots.
he had boots on.
I ain't seen anybody climb a pillar like that since Mario on Super Mario 64.
Climbing pillars?
Yeah, on the
Let's
desert.
go find a
level.
pillar
He had
and
to-
climb
he had to
it.
Climb up the
You-
pillar. He
you-
had to stomp on it.
If I'm being honest, when I bought my 64, I got a special edition that came with Diddy Kong Racing instead of Mario, and I never had Mario 64 growing up. My cousin had it, so I
gosh.
played it. But I never beat the game.
Oh my gosh, that is top 5 game of all time.
I think if you went back and played it, you wouldn't think that.
I do go back and play it, and I do think that.
Because I
Yeah.
have played it kind semi recently, and it's real clunky, and that's what everyone.
No, man, that game is still to this day top notch.
I disagree with that. Now Diddy Kong Racing's not like a top 5 game.
but you're too busy over here playing Assassin's Creed and all this weird stuff.
Yeah, that's
He
weird.
does play a lot of Assassin's
Yeah.
Creed.
Pirates Forge or something.
I like the
Forge?
historical fast facts.
What's Pirates Forge?
I don't know, some stupid, Ori and the Woke Forest or whatever.
Ori and the Blind Forest is
Blind Forest.
a great game.
Yeah.
So we get to the daily. The daily is called Connect 'Em All. It's basically a mini final,
That's what TJ said.
which is why I wrote it.
Yeah.
And
I didn't want it to just be your interpretation. TJ said it was a mini final.
basically teams of 6. There's 3 teams, and also he announces that they've canceled the lifesaver, which after the first time that it was used, it's canceled. And so, like, I get that they changed up the elimination format, but I just wonder if because of how Alyssa freaked out and made such a big deal that she was blindsided because everyone else kind of knew they were going in or whatever, if they were like, all these people came out here for this money, we need to make it to where people know if they're going in or not. I don't know. But at the same time, though,
I didn't even think about
they got
that.
blindsided. Anissa and Beth got
Yeah.
blindsided tonight.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It seemed like this was a production idea, like, oh, we need to change this up because what happened last week we don't want to happen again. I think the double elimination thing makes sense going forward because we have
So many people.
18 people at the start of this daily, and there's only 4 episodes left.
Yeah.
You can't run that many people in a final.
Yeah, once TJ announced that they were canceling the lifesaver and that there would be no more of it this season, it made me really glad that Mark finally used it last week because otherwise we would have never known what it did or how it worked.
I genuinely feel that they changed it because Mark used it and because Alyssa freaked out. I mean, we may
but,
never know.
I mean, if Mark hadn't used it, I don't think anybody else would have.
I don't know. It's such
You really feel that?
that's just like a
You think no one else in that house would
that's a
use
Schrodinger's
lifesaver?
cat thing.
Because we had seen it all the weeks leading up to it, and everybody said, well, I don't know what happens if I use it, so I'm not going to use it.
I think you could pull out 2 people that are bold enough to use
well,
it.
or something would happen
if they win.
No,
the
well,
daily.
something would happen down the road where like a really close friendship, like one got it and then one was going in, and so they could have done it. So I think it would have been used at some point. But anyway, teams of 6: the copper team, Big Easy, Katie, Ruthie, Darrell, Anissa, and Mark. The gold team is Kendall, Derek, Hasela, Latarian, Kellyanne, and Nehemiah. And then the silver team is Cyrus, Yes, Jimmy, John A, Beth, and Alton.
Really glad that they stuck to one thing, naming the teams.
We've already
It's
gone
all
over this.
medals.
They're all colors still.
It's all medals, and I'm real happy that they didn't just bounce around like that.
Well, you have to if there's 6 teams.
Yeah. That's what happened last time. There's only 3 teams.
Well,
so
do you want them to start calling them zinc, oxide,
Well, I said they could have
Carbon.
done platinum,
plastic?
Yep.
plastic.
By the way, what is like zinc oxide?
Plastic.
And
You really said plastic.
yeah, I did.
I thought zinc oxide was going to have another name for it, but it doesn't. So this is when Cyrus talks about he hurt his ankle. So I was like, okay, then something's going to happen. Like they're playing this up too much. So basically, the way it works is you start as teams of 6, and then you kind of like dwindle down after one checkpoint, and then you go to like teams of 2, and then it's an individual thing. And the first checkpoint after they carry the log, they're running up. They actually no, there were 2 things. The first checkpoint was the word problem, the math problem with the words.
That's
Mhm.
right.
The log
And
was
then
second.
you get the log.
Yeah. So I figured Yes would be good at this, but basically each team had a different phrase, which we saw on
Double agents.
double agents,
The finale.
where it was a different, which is good. So you
Yeah.
can't just copy the other team, but it's kind of the same thing to where once you get a couple of the letters, you can kind of like
You can
piece it
figure it out.
together. Yeah, and so
Except one team couldn't figure that out.
yeah. The first team, theirs was The Game Never Stops. The second one was The Past is Haunting. And then the third one was Your Past Never Dies. But they had
Your ideas never dies.
it was like Your Past Ideas Dies.
Yeah,
And it was
something like
like, well,
that.
that grammatically doesn't even make sense. And yeah, they eventually figured it out. But ultimately, they were all pretty close at that point. Then they pick up the log. And as far as from what we can tell is everyone has to at least have like a hand on the log, right? Going up. They don't
Like
have
you
to
got to be touching
yeah, they
it.
don't have to necessarily carry it. Pretty soon in, Hasela sounds like she's gonna die. Like crying, like I don't know what was happening.
It sounded like she was crying, but then the camera cut to like an up close shot of her face, and she like it didn't look like her face was in distress. It looks like she was just wailing, like very non-emotionally.
It could have been the audio was from a different part, and then that was a better shot, and they just mixed them together. I don't know, but she was struggling right away. For Mark and Darrell's team, which was who else is on it? Anissa, Big Easy, Katie, and Ruthie. At one point, it's just Mark and Darrell carrying it. They're carrying the entire weight of the log, and everyone else just kind of has their hand on it, including Big Easy,
Yeah.
who is should be helping out there. But that wasn't the weirdest thing in all this. The weirdest thing was that Alton was like, I don't know if he couldn't catch his breath because of elevation or.
I mean, he was on his hands and knees.
It's weird. Like I mean, clearly he's physically like in insane shape.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it was because I think he'd be fine endurance wise for something. I don't know what was going on.
But I think we can all assume because, or not even assume, but I think safely say that because jumping forward a little bit, Cyrus's whole reasoning behind throwing him in was he felt like Alton was throwing him a little bit. That was not happening.
No.
Because he puts himself in jeopardy,
Yeah,
too.
and that's what he said.
Exactly.
He's like, it's a men's elimination. Why would I do that? And so anyway, the Alton part was a little weird, but then they get to the next checkpoint, and you pair off, and you got to solve a puzzle, which I counted up, and it's 64 tiles, so it's 8x8 grid,
That's a lot.
and it's not always like, oh, it's pink is always the same color font, so it could be like pink with blue font or pink with like yellow font, so it's a little harder than that, and like I don't know how the people checking it, how they know so quickly if it's right or wrong. unless they have people watching them along the way. And
That's
then
probably
as
it.
soon as they screw up once, they're like, okay, well, they're wrong.
Because the thing is, if they didn't have somebody watching them the whole way, once they ask for check, if whoever's checking has to go through the entire thing, that's costing them time for the next person or all the other teams that are still trying to solve it.
The going back to the Alton and Cyrus thing, which we'll get into more, I know. The other thing is, like, Jimmy and Yes were on that team, and they finished 3rd overall. So it's like it's the puzzle that caused Cyrus to lose.
Yes.
It's not the log part. Everyone from the log part ended up at the same place, and some of them got done faster than others. And then you had others that got there first that took forever to get done.
Like, Mark and Ruthie took forever.
Yeah. And so Latarian grabs Kendall real fast because he's very pumped about her.
Well, he knows that she's a really good competitor.
Well, and
so
again, he's like, she does yoga 8 hours a day, which has been kind of a running joke about Kendall. That's all she does.
yeah, I guess.
I mean, she's clearly, her and Kellyanne, I would say, would clearly be the ones built for long distance endurance, it seems.
More than
and they
Ruthie?
both finished 1st and 2nd.
Yeah.
Huh?
More than Ruthie?
Well, I mean, they're both, well, I guess Ruthie's for sure the oldest out of the 3.
Is she?
We went over this last week.
44?
She's 44.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, you were trying
That's
to get
right.
you to adopt her.
Because she's close to my mom's age.
Which Kari, by the way, in our Slack group, did not appreciate you saying that. And then she got mad at me because I guess I said Kendall and Mark were old. And I don't remember saying that.
Oh, come on. Kari ain't in her 40s.
Oh, how old is she? 11?
She's barely knocking on 30.
She's just
There you
knocking
go.
on 30. There's 3 types of women, guys.
Mm-hmm.
And knocking on 30
Kari's
is one
number
of them.
3.
Yeah.
Kari's number 3, and she's not even knocking on 30.
Yeah. So, again, he grabs Latarian.
What was so funny?
The one funny thing is Beth teams up with Cyrus because they've been going back forever. And then she runs up to Latarian, and he's like, what are you doing? He's like, we are not partnered together. And I was like, I guess she just went to, like, the big, tall, like, buff black guy. I was like, oh, you're my partner. And he's like, what are you doing here? And, I mean, I guess Cyrus and Latarian do favor, like, size-wise. Like, they're both about the same size. I'd say Latarian.
Same build.
Latarian seems more muscly to me. But, I mean, was Latarian even on Beth's team to begin with?
I don't think so. No.
He was on a completely different team.
No, because it was Cyrus, Alton, and who was the other guy on that team?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Because Alton was the one that kept leaning on Beth, and she's like, "Why are you putting your weight on me? Get off of me! Lean on the."
I don't believe for 1 second that Alton was trying to throw this elimination.
No.
I mean this
not at all.
So in this checkpoint, it is tough, but Latarian and Kendall finished first, so it was good on him for teaming up together.
Yeah.
Kellyanne and Derek are second. I started writing this down, and then after the 5th one, I just got tired of it. Jimmy and Yes are third, which goes completely against Cyrus's point that they got screwed from the log thing. And then Anissa and Darrell 4th, Nehemiah and Hassel are 5th. And then overall, Latarian wins, and man, he's been impressive.
He's shown up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, again, I don't really remember him on his first seasons or whatever, but from our patrons who have watched those more in depth than we have, they were like, he was always a guy who had the, like, build you would think would do really well, but never did.
Yeah. Well,
And-
you guys tried to make me worry about him, picking him from my fantasy team.
You know what's crazy?
And look what he's doing for me.
You know what's crazy? He was her last pick.
Uh-huh.
And, like, yours was Alyssa and mine was Hassela. Just because we were like, we don't know about these people. We don't know if they're going to, like, be introverts and not talk or how they're going to compete. And, I mean, Latarian's by far the best last pick on the board.
Oh, heck yeah.
Hassela's been a good last pick for you.
She's
She has
been pretty good. Arissa's for sure the worst.
That's right.
Yeah.
Would you rather have John A at this point?
She ain't done nothing.
Yeah, I know.
She's not. I didn't pay attention to who finished when.
Latarian wins.
I mean, other than Latarian and Kendall, I just wanted to know who finished first, and then, like, I wasn't really
You just
paying attention
Shut off.
to the rest until the last two, because it came down to Katie and Big Easy and Beth and Cyrus.
Well, Derek was second, and then Kellyanne was second for the girls.
Yeah, but second isn't first place, and it doesn't save you from elimination, so...
Why are you saying that like you're burning me? Like, that's just what happened.
That's a good burn.
Were you about to say something?
Analysis. That's what I was about to say.
So, yeah, Beth and Cyrus are in last place at checkpoint 2, and then they just time out. I don't know if they timed them out because Big Easy and Katie finished, and they're just like, it's dumb. Like, you're dumb. You can't do anything. Or if they were just like, you've just been here way too long. Again, I think more than anything, Cyrus is probably embarrassed that they came in last, which is where all of this like weird misguided energy and vibes. And it's
not even that, you know, they just were neck and neck, crossed the line right after Big Easy and Katie. They timed out. Yeah. They timed out. They couldn't even get past the puzzle, and it was so hard to watch.
It's so like they get back to the house, and Cyrus is like icing his ankle out by the water, and it looks like Alton goes up to him on his own. And he's just talking like, hey, you know, what's going on? What are you thinking?
He tries to ask him who he wants in elimination.
And then he's just like, I want you. And he's like, you're the reason why I lost. And Alton's like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And that's when he's like, I think you threw it. And he was just like, why? Like, it's a guy's elimination. I could have as easily gone in. Like, what are you talking about? Mm-hmm. And then Cyrus starts getting a little bit more worked up. And this is where Alton's first, like, big line of the night came out. And he's just like, I don't want to have to eliminate you. And I was like, yeah. I was like, if he wants Alton, like, he's signing his death sentence right now.
Yes.
Because everybody in the house, this entire episode, has talked about how much of a freak of nature.
The only type of thing Cyrus would win would be, like, a pole wrestler or hall brawl type thing. But even then, he's got a messed up ankle. And Alton's not going to give up. And it's just, that's one of those things where, like, mass just kind of takes a bigger role. But I was just like, this is so misguided. And I don't know why that he felt like he, I don't know. I just don't get it. Like, because Alton was trying to say, like, hey, you know, Big Easy was in second to last.
He said he told Cyrus that it should be Big Easy, or that he thought it would be Big Easy.
Looking back on this elimination,
it probably should have been.
I think he would have beat Big Easy in this elimination
if it was based on performance.
And well, the only caveat would be is if Big Easy picked somebody nimble who could climb up over the wall, and he just went through it.
Even like using him as a step ladder, right?
Yes, yeah. So if he used like Katie or someone like that, which
he wouldn't pull Katie in, he might take like Kellyanne or somebody.
Get someone light.
So if you pick someone like Kellyanne, you have her go over the top, you go through, because Beth can't go through. Like that's the thing. I mean, can't go over the top. Sorry, but I just think it's completely misguided, and it's just like I get on one level. There's a pride thing involved, and you're more upset that you don't want to blame yourself that I did bad, my partner did bad, that's why we lost. You want to blame someone else, but like if you look back on it, like again, Jimmy and Yes finished third. Yeah. Like they were right there with them.
Alton argued with Cyrus that if he had finished the puzzle, he would have been fine.
Yeah, which is true.
And then also argued that he thought he just mentally checked out.
Which that may have been true, I don't know who was more to blame, him or Beth, in the puzzle, but I mean, neither one of them could get it done.
Well, after they timed out at that puzzle checkpoint, Beth said in a confessional that she was worried that Cyrus was already basically mentally checked out. She said she thought that he was already pretty defeated.
I don't know. It's just weird. And then you have Mark that goes and talks to him, and he tells Mark that he wants Alton. And so going into the deliberation, Mark starts, he's like, hey, I've known Cyrus for like 20 years. I'm going to relay what he wants. He wants Alton. And like, this was like, oh, I really agree with what Jimmy has to say because normally I typically don't. But she was like, why would he want to go against Alton? Like, this is not a good idea for him.
So you could argue even his friends did him a disservice by giving him what he wanted.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's one of the things where if you had really good friends,
they'd be like, no.
They wouldn't give you what you want.
They wouldn't give you something that would be to your detriment. Mm-hmm. And because, like, again,
even Nehemiah said something about it.
Yeah, if you're looking at it, like, give him Big Easy. Like, that's a much better matchup for him.
But I think, and they pointed this out, the thinking is, because everybody's kind of, even Derek at one point said, like, Alton's the top guy in the house.
Yeah.
Like, so they see it as like, okay, if he wants him,
he takes him out.
here's
good.
a chance to get him out of the house. You know, that's the only thinking there.
I agree with that.
Mark said that as well.
I agree with that if you're one of the other people, but then you're not ultimately looking out for your friend. You're looking out for hopefully what's
yourself.
best for you. Yeah. Which it's fine. Like, it's an individual game at the end of the day.
Well, yes, in the nominations, yes took Cyrus's side on his reasoning for wanting Alton. Like, did you quote unquote gassed out on that trek up the mountain? And then Hisela jumps in on Alton's side saying, you know, it wasn't Alton's fault that Cyrus couldn't finish the puzzle.
Yeah, she brought up that you're picking the wrong person because you're emotionally hurt, which I was like, that's spot on. Like, that's exactly what's happening. Like, you're just looking for an outlet to blame it on. And the voting started off with like 3 for Big Easy, and then you had Nehemiah burn on Derek and vice versa. And then it just completely flipped, and it went all out.
I really thought they would vote for Big Easy.
I mean, I guess, like, the thing is, he wants Alton, and a lot of this from the beginning is, like, whoever the person in the nomination wants, that's kind of who you've been given. And, I mean, it's like handing him a loaded gun, but there's very few scenarios where Alton's going to lose to Cyrus. I mean, he's arguably one of, if not the most in shape person there, other than weirdly what happened on that mountain. Mm-hmm. And you already saw he's like a freak, and they've shown flashbacks of him and he looks exactly the same. Like, he doesn't look like he's aged at all. And
boy,
so
them some nice jeans.
He does wear nice jeans. So they walk back to the house. Alton is like, it's gonna be me and you. And then Cyrus stands up to kind of like shake his hand, and he just walks right by. I know, I liked it.
God,
so I told Hannah,
so
I was
much.
like, I like this like feisty Alton, because honestly, for most of the season, he's just been in the background, like he hasn't been
in
doing
his fisherman outfit.
Man. And then here's the thing: you had Latarian talk about the disrespect, right?
But he's friends with Cyrus.
I get it,
yeah.
But like, you could argue that Cyrus, you know, telling Alton that he quit or threw the challenge, whatever, is just as disrespectful. Like, if any disrespect started somewhere, it started with Cyrus.
Agreed. He's questioning Alton's character. He was saying, you're throwing it to screw me over. And he's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And so, no, I like it.
Like, why? Like, why? Why would I come after you've called me a quitter and now have me in an elimination?
An elimination. Yeah.
Like, why? Why would I
No,
shake your hand?
I love it. Like, I was like... This
no, dude, you want to go? Let's go then.
And then he had the line where he walked in the house and he said, "I don't want to shake the wrist I'm going to break."
I love it.
And I was like, "Oh man!"
I thought, like, I mean, is that our episode title? Is that too long?
It's long,
It's
but
so
man,
long.
it's such a good one.
I mean, that's
a
the
good
one.
burn.
So. I don't remember the really old. I need to go back and watch some older seasons with Alton. We recently watched Battle of the Seasons, which was a weird season for him. Like, he wasn't in the right headspace. He was. It seemed like he was kind of over the TV stuff at that point. He had the weird kind of relationship with Sarah, but I don't remember him being like having an edge to him like this. I remember him being a really good competitor. But I don't remember him being like, oh, okay, that's what it is now. Like, I'm going to come after you.
Yeah.
And I like it.
I do too.
Mm-hmm. It's nice.
Because he can back it up.
Fun.
And
he did.
He said going forward, he's like, I'm going to be a different person in this house. He's like, I've just kind of been like hanging back and whatever. And I was like, that's what I want. And now people are scared of him.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. But... man, what a line as you're walking by. And also, like, in the heat of the moment. It's not like he said this in confessional, like, 2 days later.
He said this from across the room.
We get the night out. Not a lot's happening other than Alton is tired of being nice to people. And then we get something that I did not expect, which is an Alton and Hisela hookup that he's like, I'm not going to talk about that. And then we get the night vision under the covers, and then it cuts away.
Why was I so convinced they were both married?
I thought he was, because I remember people saying he's got kids or something, but I guess maybe he just has kids.
You know who has kids is Corey.
That's true.
I don't know if you guys missed that memo, but Corey has kids.
He's not even on this season.
No, but I think it needs to be noted.
Yeah,
because it has not.
Do
been
I get
talked
fantasy
about
points for that?
No, it's over.
He was on my team.
I thought about doing fantasy points for the reunion. I was like, I don't want to do this.
No,
I don't want to do this.
That's way too much.
Also, I blew you guys out of the water.
Yeah, there's no winning.
Whatever.
But there is 3 types of women. There's no winning, but there's 3 types of women.
And you are woman number 3.
Actually,
you're number 2.
I was like, Carrie's woman number 3.
You're number 2.
I'm number 2.
Yeah.
Which one is that?
I feel like that was the bad one.
That's the whoa.
Oh,
when the makeup comes off.
Without makeup. Woof.
Yeah.
Latarian and Mark basically give Cyrus a pep talk the next morning. Alton's kind of stretching, talking to Derek. And it kind of just then cuts to the elimination. And I was like, oh, it's elimination from last week. They probably just honestly left it set up because they didn't get to use it.
Yeah, why not?
But then TJ's like, guess what? There's a twist. Told you there's no lifesaver, but there's something else. And he says that, it's from here on out, it's a double elimination starting now. And since Beth was the other losing person, she's automatically in. And I was like, well, that's awesome. And then he says, Alton, you get to choose whoever you want.
Except for Kendall,
yeah, except for
she
Kendall
was the
because
winner.
she was safe.
Which puts him in such a weird spot.
Yeah,
man.
because they're like, now, by the way, if you guys lose,
that person goes home too.
that is a great twist. That is such good TV. And I was like, oh, man, I love this.
But it does, put that person at a real advantage.
But here's the other thing. It also, 1, penalizes you for losing, and also, 2, highly motivates you to win in the dailies, which is what we've been talking about in the dailies going.
Quit throwing dailies.
Even when it's not a female elimination day.
Exactly.
So, next week, these men are going to be equally inclined to win.
Because the female automatically goes in, and then there's going to be house vote, but the house vote can pick from anyone else who's not the number 1 person. And so that is such a good twist. You could say whatever you want about the level of competition in this season, but the production value of this season is amazing.
Top-notch.
They haven't gotten anything wrong yet.
No, other than maybe a couple casting things. But other than that, it's still so much better than the casting for double agents. I just when they threw that out there, I was like, that's such a good twist because people are going to be nervous because they don't want to go in unexpectedly. But also, the main thing is it rewards you for winning and it penalizes you for losing the dailies. There's consequences.
Yep.
And I was just like, man, I hope they do that next season, season 37. So he was looking around. I was trying to, in my mind, think, who would you want in this? And then I was like, would you want Kellyanne or Kendall? Because they're both kind of nimble, too.
He can't have Kendall.
That's right. Or Ruthie or someone like that. But then he's
I would have picked Kellyanne.
He was like, Anissa. And I was like, oh, Anissa is a great pick for this. Because
Alton likes to climb things.
And you know what? They explained the elimination last week in front of everyone. You know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And also, Anissa has been doing these up until currently. She just got back from season 36.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's in the quote mindset to do this type of thing.
Yeah.
And so I was like, Anissa is the perfect pick for this type of elimination because she beat Tori in the medicine ball thing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically it's what we thought. You pull the rope at the beginning, very similar to Anissa's elimination. And then you have to throw the medicine ball over the top. One person has to climb over while the other one punches through. And so, clearly, Alton's going to climb over because that's what he loves doing. Anissa's going to punch through the drywall. What I didn't expect was Anissa was the one throwing the balls over. And I was like, well, she just did that in the elimination with Tori. I was like, A+ pick all around from Alton.
Yeah, it was perfect.
And
even TJ said she's real good at eliminations.
Well, Jake's going to have an issue with this.
I know, but TJ said it.
I will say though,
this is a great elimination for her.
No, yeah. But just overall, these last couple of years, she has really come around for me.
Yeah, I agree.
She really has.
I think her recent run has been some of the best stuff.
I think
she's
it is
done.
her best.
Performance.
I think it is her
that
best.
she's had.
Yeah,
100%.
I agree. I think it's been the most entertaining season she's had.
Oh yeah, she's been really.
I used to
really
honestly
fun to watch.
not really care for her on the show back in the day, but like now, like I like that Anissa's on the show. Like she's not gonna be like a like D1 level athlete to like compete on everything, but she brings what you need on the show as far as you need people with personality and that can know how to compete in these weird games and
that will give it their all and not quit.
Yeah, now she might quit in a really long run or something, but other than that, no. But again, like this type of thing, like where did she go in this? She went third to your team, which is a solid pick because she's been doing this when other people haven't been.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, they just go, and obviously Beth's not going to be climbing. She's, 53, she said? She's not going to climb on top. Cyrus is like 50.
She has arguably been, I would say, and we don't have the fantasy points just for each individual player on hand, I'd say she's been the highest performing one. Female.
Let me see. That's a decent week. Beth had a big week because she won last week.
She won an elimination.
Yeah. Hasela had a first big week for me. Ruthie was kind of in and out. It just depends on the week. The week Trishelle went home, she had a lot of negative scoring for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this type of game suits Anissa so well because she just the upper hand she has on him is that she's not taken 15 years off. Like she's just continued to do this, and so. I mean, this elimination wasn't even close.
Well, Beth didn't even have tennis shoes to put on, so...
I didn't watch after they started if they had shoes for her or not. That was what she said. There's no way they're going to be like, all right, well, you got to compete in... Flip-flops or heels or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know...
Because otherwise people would be pissed if they're like,
yeah,
oh, I got to go in elimination. I don't even have the clothes to go.
They've done that before.
They've done it with Zach and whatever, but that was a punishment on them because they couldn't pick the team.
Well, regardless, Beth had to be the one to punch through the wall, so that meant that Cyrus, with his hurt bum ankle, had to be the one to climb the wall, jump from the wall, climb the wall, jump from the wall. And he struggled quite a bit from the get-go, and he wasn't landing right. He should have done what Alton did, which was once you're at the top of the wall, grab onto the edge with your hands and slowly drop yourself down. So it's not as much of a fall from air to ground.
Here's the thing. You could have Cyrus at 100%, jacked up on steroids, whatever, and Alton with a messed up ankle. Alton's going to win this all day long. Like, genetically, they're two completely different people. Like, Alton, probably weighs like 170 or something like that. Maybe like 180. I don't know how tall he is. But he's very lean, though.
Right.
He's got a lot of muscle, but he's lean. Like, Cyrus is a thick guy. Like,
see, I'd push him closer to 185, 190.
He might be. That would depend on height more than anything. I don't know how tall he is.
Because you think of like, we just watched the NFL draft, right?
Yeah.
Super lean guy. We just drafted the cornerback.
He was 6'2".
Farley, 6'2", but he was 207 pounds.
Yeah.
But he's still super lean,
yeah,
right?
But then you got John Morant, who was like 6'1", he's like 170. So yeah, Alton probably is a little bigger than that for sure. But it's just like Cyrus is probably 240.
Yeah,
and like he's probably 6'1", 6'2". Like it's just, and he's older. Like there's just Cyrus wasn't going to win this, and
Beth had to start helping him climb,
and then he almost broke her.
Yeah,
and she's like, "Oh, my back!" And like again, they're two of the oldest people on the show, other than Mark Long maybe, and they lapped him. They lapped him 4 times. Like they were done, and they had only done one run, like the other team. And
I'm just glad that they weren't quitters. They gave it their all.
Agreed.
And they didn't give up. They competed until the horn was blown.
I just knowing Cyrus from past seasons, I was like, even if he hurts himself, he's not going to quit. Mm-hmm. He's going to maybe go slower, but he's not. He's got too much like pride. He's not going to quit. Which again, I'll take that all day long. But you don't. Yes. You also don't want someone to like seriously hurt themselves. But I mean, it's just. Alton and Anissa on this elimination were a perfect 1-2 combo. Like it's just like I don't even know if you could have picked a better partnership. And so
it was really good. And then
it's
Derek called Anissa the ultimate challenge queen.
which
I don't know about that, but
Jake's favorite.
Yeah.
Again, she has 11-11 in eliminations. She's I don't know if anyone's done more eliminations than her.
yeah, well, that's over a long stretch of time.
It is.
Too,
It's over
so.
like 15 years.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I'd say 20.
you think she's been doing it 20 years?
Yeah.
I don't remember what her first season was.
Closer. I'd say
It's probably closer to 20.
It's
than 15.
closer to 20 than it is 15.
We're getting old, guys. September 11th is going to be a 20-year anniversary this year.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I know. Never forget. So
Have you forgotten what Daryl Worley asked? Not us.
not us. Not Daryl Worley is from our neighboring town that we grew up in.
Yeah, so I'm sure a lot of you have heard that song.
If not, get on YouTube and type in Daryl, Daryl.
Maybe 2 R's?
Maybe 2 R's. You'll figure it out.
You know how to spell Daryl.
Worley.
YouTube will autocorrect.
Yeah,
for
or
me.
just type in "Have you forgotten?"
Yeah.
It says a country song about September 11th.
Another top-notch song, Lee Greenwood's God Bless the USA.
Not written about September 11th.
No, but that song, if you want to be all patriotic, crank that song in your lifted-up pickup truck.
Mm-hmm. You know, Alton's got an American flag on every hat that he has.
You know, he's going fishing every weekend.
Hey, I don't blame him. By the way, they just kill it. Cyrus and Beth go home. Cyrus is very upset in his final confessional, but he signed his own like death warrant. Essentially, like it's his fault.
He could have had a big easy.
Yeah, and it was just really funny the like juxtaposition of Cyrus's confessional, and then he's really pissed and like says F word a lot and walks off, and then Beth's like, "Well, I had a ton of fun." And,
Yeah.
I will say like Beth was fun to watch this season.
Yeah,
She was, and I am not normally a fan of hers.
I mean, arguably my favorite Beth moment until this season was when Tina punched her in the head.
But you think back, like she's always been a really good sport.
Yes, I
Yeah.
will give you that.
She has always been a really good sport.
And she never like went out of her way to like fight people. Like people just
No.
didn't like her.
Literally, no matter the circumstance, she
Yeah.
always was smiling
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time.
That's just one of my earliest challenge memories that like really stuck out to me. Is I remember it being in the middle of the afternoon. Probably MTV was running like a marathon of like the current season, and I was like, "Oh crap!" I was like, "She's punched her in the forehead, like right there." That's like the least effective place to punch somebody.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a punch in the head.
It sent Tina home. It did. Again, just another top to bottom, great daily. Great elimination, great like drama between, but not manufactured, and then a great twist to go forward. And it's just like they're knocking it out of the park on this.
Why
Like
aren't they doing this in the normal seasons?
whoever is responsible, other than Mark Long, obviously, whoever's responsible for this season, MTV really needs to look at. Maybe we should get these people to be running the main show. Like again, we all said. I was gonna say Justin Long. It's not Justin Long.
I love Justin Long.
Booth. Yeah, it'd be weird if Justin Long was running the MTV shows, but
Oh my gosh, I'd lose my mind if it was Justin Long.
Justin Booth. Those seasons we all love. It gets very extreme. The person who took his place for this current season apparently is like his protege.
That's what I've heard.
Well, that's what we were told from people on the show.
I think you heard it from Zach, actually.
Yeah,
I don't listen to him.
I think we
When
heard
his-
it from
When his mouth is
Wes,
moving, I just completely
You
tune
know
it
what?
out.
We heard it from Devin, and she definitely hasn't gone to listen to that.
Yeah.
I listened to most of it because I was just in the other room while you edited the entire podcast.
Well,
I was sitting 10 feet away.
Yo, we're sitting a foot away, and you hardly listen to us here.
I listen to you sometimes, Jake. I listen to Zach maybe 10% of the time.
so
I tell you, you're a
And I'm-
three-hand.
we need
Yeah,
we need
you did.
we need to
A 3.
Yeah.
we need to petition MTV to basically figure out who was running this season, and then get them to like. There's probably a contract, and like the way MTV typically works is that they do like a 3-season run. So that's what Justin Booth did. World of Worlds 1, 2, and then Total Madness, and then like from what we talked with Wes about, he's like, I don't know any specifics, but I would tend to think that this All-Star show has a similar contract. They haven't announced anything like that. He's like, but typically MTV does 3 seasons at a time, and then they renew it going forward.
Well, if Cyrus is on the end at all, he'll be back next season.
Yeah, I mean, TJ said, I know we'll see both of you again.
So there were 2 very telltale sort of hints.
They haven't announced anything yet, but I don't see how this doesn't do another season. It's done
so well.
I would be interested to know the numbers, but I know like the like trailer numbers and stuff have been off the charts compared to like Double Agents, Total Madness, and all that. Like people are excited to see these specific people.
It's the people
from challenges,
from real world that they're familiar with, faces they know that they haven't seen in years.
I guarantee you, like people we know. So we know a lawyer who said, like, when he found out we did a podcast, he's like, I used to watch that show a lot, and
it's one of the attorneys I work with.
And I could guarantee you he probably wouldn't be super interested in the newer stuff where it's a lot of new cast. But if you told him a lot of these people, he'd be like, oh yeah, I remember them, and then he might would watch that. And so I just think the only gripes I have would be I would like it to be a longer season run as far as episodes, but typically
with your
first season, you go shorter because you'd rather do too little than too much.
Yeah,
you always rather people be wanting more than to be like, oh god, this season's still going. So I'd like to see in the like 12 to 14 range maybe for episodes, but
then do you run into, because that was part of the reason you were able to get these people, is they're just gone for 2 weeks.
It was more than 2 weeks.
Was it more than 2 weeks?
Yeah. But I like the hour format. I think what they've been killing the pace of the show. Like a little bit of talking, daily drama, deliberations, elimination, then you're out. Like that format works. It's worked for 30 seasons. Like just do that. And I would just like it to be a little bit longer. So other than that, like I have zero like real complaints. It's very minor stuff about this season, especially compared to like, you know, what we just watched, which I think we all for the most part liked Double Agents.
It's fine. It's a very middle of the road season.
I'd give it a 6 out of 10.
I think that's fair. I'd say between a 6 or 7. Like, you know,
definitely not a 3.
That would be a very fair.
It ain't no 3.
But yeah, it's this just, man, it's just almost refreshing compared to and we liked a lot of this.
It's like water being poured over you, like you got your head back in the shower and the water is just pouring down.
Yeah. Let's get into the not nominations but the superlatives for this episode. Does anybody want to go first? I'll go first. Screw you guys. I'm giving it to Alton for his like off the cuff digs at Cyrus, and then literally sending him home.
I want to give it to Beth for just being a good sport, man.
Yeah.
She was.
Yeah, just smashing our heads with good sportsmanship,
which I appreciate. I gave it to Latarian just because, I mean, he's been
solid.
Performing top freaking notch.
I mean, arguably, I don't think it's even arguably, like, Latarian has been better than Darrell and Derek and Mark Long as far as just wins. And then, other than, like, he went into the first elimination, but he destroyed that first elimination.
Yeah, he shook Ace like a rag doll.
I guess Mark was the winner last week until he was a captain, but, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Nehemiah's done decently well. I think Nehemiah's in a good position long term, but as far as who got their head smashed, I mean, Cyrus did it to himself, and then Alton just piled it up back on top of him. So that's mine.
Technically, Hisela got smashed.
We don't know that for sure.
Well, it's just
he didn't deny it.
He just said, "I'm not going to talk about this."
Yeah.
I gave it to Cyrus and Beth because Beth didn't know she was going into elimination until they were there.
Yeah, you could have said all the people that didn't win because they were up for grabs.
Yeah.
As far as the females for this week. So you could also said we could have very well said TJ smashed everyone's head with those twists, but it is what it is. Jake, do you want to get into the fantasy vibes?
Yeah, I would actually love nothing more. So, let's see. You want to just kick it right off from the top?
Let's go.
Kick it right off.
Well, one that I find offensive here.
Starting with an offensive one.
Derek is still wearing a Challenge Mania hoodie. Where's the Smashing Heads merch? That's a -5.
He's on your team, so I don't care.
Yeah. Let's see. Per Darrell, that was a dominating performance by Beth. 5 points to Beth. No one thinks Beth did anything wrong. It's a 5-pointer. Darrell's glad Alyssa went home. 5 points to Darrell.
Thank you.
Diplomacy is going out the window, and it's time to evolve. That was Hisella. That's a 10-point quote right there. You could put that in an amendment.
In a yearbook.
Yeah. Let's see. Beth is going to fight for Cyrus. 5 points to Cyrus because he's
fightable.
He's being fought for.
Yeah.
Cyrus got his hands in all the businesses. 5 points.
Including alcohol and something else. I don't even remember what the other ones were.
Derek's climbing walls. 5 points.
He didn't actually finish, though. He had to get helped off.
Darrell hopes they bust their head. 5 points to Darrell. Here goes Alton. He's climbing too. That's 5. Hisella just can't take her eyes off Alton. 5 points to Hisella. Jimmy's just in the zone. 5 points.
I forgot about that. Teacher's like, are you all right?
Let's see. Mark got to use the one and only lifesaver. 10 points. Let's see. Darrell's man Big Easy is so smart. 10 points to Big Easy. Must have been watching Wheel of Fortune his whole life. 5 points to Big Easy and 5 points to Darrell for that quote. We're gonna start giving out points. For
Darrell's like
he's
so
a totally
much more
different
watchable
person
this season.
He hasn't performed a lot like in this one, but like his interviews have been like some of the most quotable stuff in the show.
Yeah.
Actually, here we go. Darrell's descriptions and lines are top notch. 15 points to Darrell. Let's see. Team Copper completes the puzzle first. That's 15 points to Big Easy.
Oh, so you're going to do it per checkpoint?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Big Easy.
Katie.
Yep.
Ruthie. Darrell.
Yep.
Anissa. And Mark. Okay. Let's see. If anyone's going to carry the weight of this log and challenge, it's going to be Mark. 5 points.
And then he backed it up. Him and Darrell were the only ones carrying it at one point.
Hisella with the alligator tidbits. 5 points.
What?
She started talking about alligators.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that either.
Hisella struggling. -10. Alton asking for a break. -10. Beth don't want nobody leaning on her. 5 points. We got Beast Mode Cyrus with the bum ankle. I'm giving him 10 for that one. Hey, but we got a Big Easy and Katie fresh meat reunion. 10 points. Beth went to the wrong partner. -5. The Latarian thing.
Yeah.
Latarian and Kendall are the first to complete their puzzle. That's 15 points.
Yep.
Let's see. Kellyanne doesn't like Kendall beating her at everything. -5. Ruthie said the cockroaches are scattering. That's 5 points. Latarian wins, 25 points. Kendall wins for the girls. We're going to give her 25 because that ended up mattering. Beth and Cyrus lose, -25.
Dang, is 25 for losing the daily?
It's 10, isn't it?
I don't think it's 25.
Or was it 15? Hold on.
It's 25 for losing elimination.
Right, hold on.
That's the same as an
Hold on.
elimination.
Here we go. Hold on. I got it right here. Let's see. Yeah, it's -10. So,
Yeah.
so -10 to Latarian, not
No.
Latarian, Cyrus and Beth.
Yeah, I got it.
Let's see. Another -10 to Cyrus. He's going straight in. 10 points to Latarian because he's safe. We're also going to give 10 points to Kendall because she was safe. Let's see. Cyrus wants to throw Alton in. It's a -5 to Alton.
Should be -5 to himself.
Well, yeah, it's -5 because that's just a bad idea. But we're giving 10 to Alton because he got the first bit of trash talking in. I don't want to have to eliminate you.
Yeah.
Eliminate. Oh, a little Derek and Nehemiah heat. We like a little fire. 10 points to Derek and Nehemiah.
Do you think that was real or they were just screwing with each other?
Probably screwing with each other. But
Yeah, I feel like they were just like burning and they're like flipping each other off. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if any bad blood between them.
you know.
No, I thought it was just
But like
we're
they-
burning on each
but
other.
they were kind of like deadpan on it. Like they weren't like I got screw you. It was just like just the middle fingers. I don't know. It was weird.
Alton gets voted in, -10. It doesn't look like he's going fishing either, -5.
Okay.
Cyrus had his handshake rejected, -10. And we're giving 15 points to Alton for the can't shake the wrist I'm going to break, however exact what was. That was 15. Did you give him 15?
Yeah, I did.
Ooh, a little Katie disco dance, 5 points.
Ooh. Did you write ooh in your notes?
I did. See?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah, I did. Hasela likes to command the mood of the room, 10 points. Cyrus hoops, and he ain't afraid of the 6'8" guy, 5 points.
He does play basketball a lot. Like he goes live on Instagram, or I guess pre-COVID, but he was playing a lot.
Alton's tired of being nice to people, 5 points. But he's getting a little foot rub from Hasela, too. That's 10 points to Alton, not Hasela.
5 for each foot.
Sure. Hasela don't give up about nobody here, 10 points. I liked this quote, so I wanted to give her 5. I'm not supposed to like you.
You would like that quote.
Let's see. We're gonna give 10 points to Hasela and Alton for the
I was
love
about to say,
segment.
you gotta give him a hookup points.
One of them also said we're both attractive people.
She did.
Was it her?
Yeah.
Okay. Latarian with the break his effing spirit quote. That's pretty strong. I'm giving him 10 for that one. Cyrus with the OG cheerleading signs, 5 points.
Mm-hmm.
Oop, Alton going fishing again, 5 points.
Did he?
Yeah, he
I
had that
didn't
vest
see.
and hat on again.
Oh, but like he wasn't actually going. He just wears.
yeah,
that
we're
vest.
not inside the NBA over here. Though I think our dynamic is very inside the NBA-esque, if I'm being honest with you.
Does that mean I'm Ernie?
You're Ernie. I'm Charles.
She's Shaq.
You're Shaq.
Why am I Shaq? Because you guys hate me?
Nobody hates Shaq.
No, people like Shaq. It's I don't want to get into it.
Okay. Oh God, Beth blindsided and she ain't safe. -10 to Beth. And oh God, Anissa got it too. -10. Why'd you give her 20?
I didn't mean to. It was a typo.
Yeah, well, Anissa got -10 too. But it's good for Alton. 5 points. Anissa's feeling good about this elimination. 5 points. Alton just couldn't stop thinking about Anissa. 5 points to Anissa, not Alton.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Anissa ain't playing with that wall. 5 points. Just blasted right through that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, Cyrus's ankle. -5. Let's see. Yes is impressed with Cyrus's mental grit. 5 to each of them.
That is the first points Yes has got this week.
Yeah.
5 to
Cyrus too,
All right.
because he's got the mental grit.
Yeah.
Per Nehemiah, Cyrus is an old man putting up Christmas lights. -5 to Cyrus. Look at Beth being a bridge. 10 points. But her back is going to break. -5. Anissa and Alton win. 50 points. Cyrus and Beth lose. -25. I think you got the quote wrong, Zach. Derek said that Anissa is the elimination queen.
I didn't think I said the quote. I think I just commented on it.
The challenge queen? You said that he said the
Did I?
challenge
No,
queen.
I said
She
that.
said it.
It was the elimination queen.
I thought
I was
he's-
like, I don't think it was.
I thought he said challenge. Maybe it was challenge elimination.
Challenge elimination queen would make sense, but 10 points to Anissa.
Because he called her a queen.
He did.
I'm surprised you're not taking points away for him calling her a
Well,
queen.
but it's a different kind of queen.
I agree with that.
It's not the queen. It's not that.
Yeah.
It's elimination queen.
That's not how you normally say queen, though.
How do I normally
Or
say
king. You normally say it a totally different way.
it? Queen.
Yeah.
Just like that.
That one.
Let's see. -15 to Cyrus. This is what he wanted.
Yeah.
So it's just dumb. He is coming back with vengeance though, and dropped a lot of F-bombs. 10 points.
He did.
Let's see. Give it another 5 for that going out speech. That was actually 10. Give him 10 for that, not 5. 10. And lastly, but most importantly, not least, Beth had fun though. 5 points to Beth.
Mm-hmm.
I failed to mention it at the top.
I know. I was wondering.
This is brought to you by Starter. Just
do
it. And what we're going to do right now is take a quick break. And we're back. One last time, quick shout out to Starter for sponsoring that segment. Just do it.
So
Zach, over to you.
Thanks. I'm in the booth. You're on the field. Yeah. So interesting week. All relatively close.
By the way, I feel like you say that every week.
Well, it's
Yeah, he
relatively close to scoring. Like 2 weeks ago, it was kind
Interesting.
of a blowout. No.
Okay.
Last week it was close.
Last week it was interesting.
Yeah. So even though, well, I guess it's close all around, but all of us were within 15 points of each other for the week. As far as scoring for the week, even with all the eliminations and all that type of stuff. So on Hannah's team, Mark Long got you 30, Nehemiah got you 10, Beth got you -25, Katie got you 30, Kendall got you 50, and Latarian got you 60. So you're at 155 for the week.
That's solid,
Okay.
man.
Yeah, it's pretty
That
solid.
is pretty solid.
Jake, Derek got you 10, Ruthie got you 20, Anissa got you 80, Big Easy got you 40, Jimmy and Yes got you 5 apiece. So you're at 160 for the week. So 5
Pretty
points
good,
more.
too.
For me, Alton got me 85, which was the high score for the week. But he had a lot of negatives at the beginning. And then Darrell, 45. Kellyanne, I don't even remember why she got -5.
Oh, she doesn't like Kendall beating her at everything.
Okay, well, that was
Yeah.
her only thing for the week. Cyrus ended up with -30, and then Hasela with a 50 overall. So I was at 145. So I was the lowest for the week, and I'm still in third place. I mentioned while I was doing the math, John A didn't score anything this week.
Yeah,
So that was the right pick to have her last.
I think so.
I think we all kind of, Hasela and Latarian should have gone higher. But John A seems to be, arguably you could say she's better than Arissa because she's still around. You know,
And she didn't quit.
exactly. But she just isn't doing a lot to score in the fantasy stuff. So in third place is still me with 525. Hannah is in second still with 695, and then Jake is in first place with 715.
Boy,
So it's still
close.
pretty close. Like you guys are within 20 points of each other.
That's pretty close.
Yeah, it's been really close scoring the last 2 weeks. This double elimination thing is going to be very interesting going forward because if you happen to have both winners on your team, which means
It's 100 points right there.
That's
or
just
if
from
you
the
have
elimination.
both losers.
That's negative 50.
Plus, they both are going to be losing because they lost the daily to some degree. And so, like, it's going to start swinging one way or the other going forward. And
Well, you now have 3 people eliminated.
I do.
Tech, Trishelle, and Cyrus.
all bottom picks for me, but yeah.
My one person that's gone quit,
Yep.
Alyssa.
Yep.
And Han has 2 eliminated, and Ace and Beth.
You're sitting the best, not just because you're in the lead, but the only person gone is your last pick.
Yeah.
Hannah's 3rd and 4th pick are gone. My 4th, 5th, and 6th are gone. But the double eliminations, they're going to start coming quick on people who are gone. And, like,
You could see some big names
that's
go.
what I was about to say. You can see
Because
somebody.
like, I don't know, let's say Hasela and Katie go into elimination, right?
Yeah.
You can't tell me they're not going to pick the likes of Derek
Exactly.
or Mark
And
or
one of
Darrell
them's- one of
or
them's gonna go
Alton,
home.
right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
That's why winning's going to be very important going
very
forward.
important.
Yeah, I agree. Like, what's going to happen is if someone goes in, even on the guy side, and they're like, "Oh, I've got to win this. I need a partner."
Like, people like someone like Anissa needs to win every week, right? Because she'll be the girl. She'll be one of the top options
I
for a
agree.
female
Her and
pick.
Kendall,
Her and Kendall, and maybe Kellyanne, just depending on what the elimination is.
Ruthie.
Yeah, depending on the elimination. But yeah, if you're like, if you're a good competitor and you don't win that day, you're
You
nervous.
have to worry.
You're nervous. So it's a great twist, though. It's such a good twist. Like we didn't talk about it, but when
And it creates such a weird dynamic that between like people who are even possibly like good friends,
Yeah.
right? Because like now you're like, no, like,
you're like,
don't
I didn't.
pick me.
Yeah, I don't screw with my chance at winning.
Yeah.
yeah. It is funny that we didn't talk about it, but John A was like, "Oh, trying to hide from Houghton." Like, no, he's not picking you.
She
Like-
didn't have anything to worry
Like,
about.
if you're on the low end of the totem pole, you're like, oh, I'm good,
Yeah.
As long as you
Fine.
don't lose.
right?
Like you're okay. I don't know. It's a good twist. Like we said at the top of the show, possibly some new merch coming soon. SmashNetsPodcast.com/store. And then we are recording a Patreon podcast this weekend. That's Patreon.com/SmashNetsPodcast. Again, we got a lot of new people over there. So if it's something you've been interested in, we've got some things coming up. We're actually planning on doing another one next week if everything works out. Jake and I are playing in a tennis tournament starting Sunday that goes for 6 weeks, and so we've never done anything like that before. So our schedule is going to be a little weird, but we're going to make it work.
Yeah, we're going for the big bucks. We're playing for $100K pool here.
Earlier today, he told someone we're playing for $10,000, and he's like, "Really?" And I was like, "No." There's
What's
a
the
prize.
Probably like $100.
We don't know. It's a $25 a person buy-in, and then there is prizes for first to second place. So we don't know what it is.
It's not $10,000.
No, but the guy that's putting the event on is sponsored by Yonex. Like, if he gave you a Yonex racket or something, like that's
Yeah,
like $200 or $300 thing.
You and I both hate Yonex
Yeah, I don't like
rackets.
'em.
So
That's
not much
you
of a
can join
prize.
us for our other podcast, Tennis Talk.
Where we put our talk on your tennis.
We are playing tomorrow. If you guys are interested in checking that out,
We need to have Han just video this thing and put it. We just throw it up on Patreon. Don't even edit it. Just put it up there.
It would have my commentary on there too.
That'd be great. That's
No,
an idea.
I don't
man.
know because it would be me yelling at Zach.
Which is
follow
great.
Through.
We have
follow through.
we have
oh
a
my
buddy-
gosh, follow through.
We have a buddy that plays with us, and that is his favorite part about coming to play tennis is hearing you two bicker back and forth, especially when you're on the same team.
That's why I hate playing on the same team as Zach.
What-
I
what
do
did she-
not
what did
like
she-
it. I'll
what did
play with
she-
anybody else.
We played one time, and she blamed you for something, and you just stepped off the court.
she double faulted on a serve. And by the way, we were like 4 games in at this point. Into which, if you don't have tennis plays, like you played it's basically like 5 points per game. And so we were like 4 games in. So we'd played a lot at this point. And she double faults, which just means you hit the net twice on your serve so the other team gets a point. And she blames me for where I was standing. I've been standing there the entire time up until this point. For
Well,
all
for the
night.
entire time, for any time we had played.
For weeks now. And she blamed me.
But we don't normally play on the same team.
But that has nothing to do with it. And so, yeah, I just would stand off the court until she was done serving. But, like...
Which she then faulted when you stepped off. I remember that.
Because I was mad.
But not in... Like, so this past week... Again, this is extra content. This past week, Jake was telling you something about the way you were swinging, and I just agreed with him, and you got mad at me, but not mad at Jake.
I have a nicer way of saying things.
And here's the thing. You were not saying anything maliciously. It was just when you said something, he decided to piggyback off of it and be like, yeah. And I'm like, no.
That's not what happened.
You're not cutting me off.
You're not cutting me off, and you're not bringing your attitude.
And you're not
with
standing on the court while I'm doing anything. By the way, Jake and I are unequivocally the doubles champions out of all of our friends. Not even close. Not even close.
Yeah.
The only time we've ever lost is when I had a new racket that
Zach
I
wanted to
hated.
experiment,
And
which
I
has
couldn't
never
play
gotten
with
him
it.
anywhere in life. So,
So if you are interested in that, we can give you an address if you want to come watch. But
It's free to watch.
yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna
outside.
try to push this video thing with hands commentary for all our patrons out there.
That's a lot of work.
It's not.
It is. You're not even on mic anymore.
You don't even have to edit it. You can just throw it up there.
That's not how it works. That's not how video works.
Well, you can export. I'll export it for you.
I don't believe you.
Have a good night, everyone.